Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing a subscriber Q&A. If you guys are new to the channel, this is where you submit your questions via the comment section, Instagram or email. And I like to take like one or two of these a week, try to make a quick video, hopefully helping you out as well as anyone else who might be watching the video. So with that being said, today's question is, what do I do if I don't have room for a quarantine tank? And I've probably talked about this before because I think I have countless videos just rambling about how important quarantining your fish is, and not only your fish but your coral, your inverts, all that kind of stuff. So today we're specifically going to talk about quarantining fish and what do you do if you don't have room for a quarantine tank. Now if you were to ask me this probably 7 years ago, I probably would have said you shouldn't be in the hobby, because if you can't take the let's see, what would I have said? If you don't want to take the time to quarantine your fish and do the right thing, you probably shouldn't be in the hobby. And part of that is still true. I still think that we need to take more time and care for the animals that we are putting in a glass box in the middle of our house. I think we should take the necessary steps to make sure that they're safe, that they're healthy, and that they're not going to potentially kill themselves or any other livestock that might be in the tank. And that's where quarantine is really important. So I still stand by that, but there is a softer side, a more YouTube friendly side that we can address here. And so if you don't have room for a quarantine tank, you need to find room. You need to find a way. Everybody has a shelf. Everybody has a cabinet. Everybody has the ability to put a small 10-gallon tank somewhere. I don't care. I mean, unless you're living in a closet somewhere, which you probably shouldn't have a reef tank anyways. And if you are, kudos. It's probably interesting to see how you live like that. But there's going to be room somewhere. There's not really any excuse. You can get away with a quarantine tank that's 10 gallons, 15 gallons. You can eat 20 gallons. I mean, I wouldn't go lower than 10 gallons just because just the stability and the evaporation and the stress and dosing, like copper and stuff like that, could be difficult sub 10 gallons. So I probably wouldn't do that. But the point is, there is room. You have room somewhere. If you have a corner on the floor somewhere, put down some wood, make sure it's stable, put a tank on the floor, put an air pump. There's always going to be a place where you can put a quarantine tank because quarantining is very important, especially when it comes to fish. Like, it's easier to cure things that get in your tank to a certain extent when it comes to coral, like red bugs, flatworms, stuff like that. Those are relatively easy to take care of. Now, if we're going to dive into like acropore eating nudibranchs and like montipore eating nudies, those are a different subject and probably not as easy. But when it comes to fish, once you get ick or brook or some kind of velvet or something extreme into the tank and it starts wiping out all your fish, especially with the price of fish now, it's devastating. So setting up a quarantine tank is a must, and I really recommend it. For me, I am going to be showing you guys the setup I have down in the fish room. If you guys remember, I used to have that giant rack system with like 8 to 10 20-gallon longs when I was first setting up the 300 and I was selling fish and all that kind of stuff. I've since moved away from that. I'm just using a standard like 15-gallon Aquarium tank with a airstone type of filter, like a sponge filter, as well as a heater, and I'm going to show you guys a new light that's pretty cool for it as well. So you guys will see those videos here in the future. But with that, any fish that goes into the 300-gallon or touches my water column, even if it's in a frag tank, it's all attached, that goes through a 4-week minimum quarantine period, even if it's just observation. Sometimes I do preventative stuff like Brazipro and Coopermine, depending on where I get the fish from. But it's a 4-week minimum observation. So if in 4 weeks the fish is eating well, it seems to be healthy, there's no like sunken stomach, there's no like fin rot or anything that's showing parasite wise, then it's safe to go into the reef tank at that point. Usually 4 weeks is plenty of time given the stress that the fish is already going through. If it's going to show signs of ick or some kind of illness, it's going to be pretty soon after it gets into the quarantine tank, again given the stress that it already went through just to get to your house. So 4 weeks minimum. Again, you can put preventative stuff in there, but make sure you really don't go underneath that. A lot of people are like, I'll just do 1 to 2 weeks, which is fine. You can do that, but most of the parasites like ick and stuff like that, it has a relatively, depending on how hot it is in the tank, temperature-wise, obviously the hotter it is, the faster the life cycle is going to be for something like ick. So 2 weeks just isn't long enough, given that a lot of us are keeping our tanks around 77, 78 degrees. It's just not long enough to get through potentially a full cycle of the parasite falling off the fish and then, going into its swimming phase and then getting back on the fish and then eventually getting into the gills and then showing its signs. 2 weeks is just not long enough. So 4 weeks minimum, I think you should do. And regardless of where you live, you should definitely have a quarantine tank. And I think I'm going to stick by that. I think saying it in a nicer way will probably come across a little bit better. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a reef tank and you're going to invest any more than $50 into your reef tank, you should have a quarantine tank. Just do it. All right. So if you guys want to add anything to this, feel free to put it in the comment section. Hopefully it comes off okay. If I hurt your feelings, sorry. That's not what I'm here for. But sometimes you just got to get the truth. So get a quarantine tank, do the right thing, and happy hoppy. All right. Peace.